Okay, so run-on sentences and comma splices are probably my number one issue with college students. The kinds of editing errors that I see college students making are almost always run-on sentences and comma splices. So let's talk about what that means. There's this myth out there that run-on sentences are long and rambling. Now that may be a problem. You may have a long and rambling sentence and it may be not very easy to understand, but it's not a run-on sentence if it's long and rambling. So let's look at an example. Here we have a run-on sentence that is pretty short. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. That's a run-on. This long piece of writing, it's a paragraph in length. This is all one sentence, but it's not a run-on because it's properly punctuated and uses all different types of ways around it. So like here we have a semicolon, we have dashes, commas, all of those things help to bring that sentence into a single sentence format. So what truly makes a run-on sentence? So basically, with a run-on sentence, you have two complete sentences with no conjunction, period, or semicolon. You can also call these independent clauses. You have an independent clause followed by an independent clause, two subjects, two verbs that don't have something dividing them up. So in this case, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I am, that's our subject, and our predicate, I am. So in both cases, we have a subject and two subjects and two verbs. So one way that you can correct a run-on sentence is by using a comma followed by a fanboy to divide up your two independent clauses. I'm hungry, comma, and I'm thirsty. So using those fanboys is one way. Another way that you can correct a run-on sentence is by just simply putting a period between the two sentences. That's a really helpful and useful way to correct your run-ons. Another option is to use a semicolon. Semicolons are used in the place of periods sometimes when you have two sentences that are really want to be together in the same sentence, but they are actually independent clauses. So in that case, you would use a semicolon. One warning, don't overuse your semicolons. Once you start overusing them, then you may end up irritating your reader a little bit. Use it when it's necessary or it's going to make an impact. Be thoughtful about it. So let's look at some examples. I have this piece that I usually have students edit, but I'm going to go ahead and go through some of these examples so that you guys can watch me. You'll get to, in our quiz, go through some of the other editing errors in this article that I wrote. So let's say that this is the first sentence in my paper that I wrote. I'm sitting in the middle back seat between my boyfriend's mom and his brother. We've been on the road for almost 5 hours. This is a problematic sentence. It is a run-on. So if you look at this, you're trying to find main subject and verb. You actually have I'm sitting. That is one of our independent clauses. And we've been is another independent clause. So what we have here is a run-on. You can correct this by putting a period and starting a new sentence with the second independent clause. You can use your fanboy, a comma plus one of the fanboys, or you can use that semicolon that we've talked about. All three of those options work. Let's look at another example of a run-on. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, my stomach is upset, my back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. So there are lots of ways to fix this example. You can divide them up into multiple periods. I'm hungry, period. I'm thirsty, period. My stomach is upset, period. My back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball, period. Or in the place of periods, we can use our semicolons. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, my stomach is upset, my back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. It's not my favorite, but it works. Here's this one where we use fanboys, a whole list of them. I'm hungry and I'm thirsty and my stomach is upset and my back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. That would be a good one if you really want to express annoyance. Another way to do this is to set it up like a list. I'm hungry, comma, I'm thirsty, comma, my stomach is upset, comma, and my back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. So we got our cereal list with different items in it. You can do a mix and match. I'm hungry and thirsty, semicolon, my stomach is upset, comma, and my back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. It works. It's one way to do it. Here's another way that you can kind of maybe mix it up a little bit. Use your fanboy, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty, with a period. My stomach is upset, period. My back hurts from scrunching myself up in a ball. So the thing that I have, the title for this presentation is Run-Ons and Comma Splices. So what are these comma splices? It's almost the exact same thing as a run-on sentence. The difference is that instead of not having any punctuation between two independent clauses, you do provide some punctuation. It's a comma. The comma is not correct though. We still have two independent clauses, and that needs to be correct. So you correct comma splices in exactly the same way that you correct run-on sentences. I'm hungry, period, I'm thirsty. I'm hungry, oh, this should have a comma here. I'm hungry, comma, and I'm thirsty. Or I'm hungry, semicolon, I'm thirsty. This is the same three types of corrections that you can use for run-on sentences. One thing to note is that Google Docs can't, for some reason, it can't recognize comma splices. I think that's why so many of my students' papers end up having comma splices. It's because Google Docs can't determine when that's happened. So that's the end of my presentation on run-on sentences. I have a long quiz for you to work on to practice this because, as I said, this is a really common mistake, and I want to help you guys begin to recognize and correct run-on sentences. Happy editing!